You ever been stuck in a choice where every single option just feels wrong? I mean, we spend our whole lives trying to make the best decision, right? But what happens when the world itself seems to be cheating? Well, today we're going to dive right into that. We're going to explore the calculus of choice in a world where the right answer is always on the move.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Picture this, a self-driving car called the Arbiter. It's about to crash. It has two options. It can swerve, which puts its passenger, a brilliant hacker on a mission to save the city, in mortal danger. Or it can stay the course, saving the passenger, but hitting a group of pedestrians, including a beloved street performer who's become a symbol of hope. So, what's the optimal move? Seems simple enough on the surface, but as we're about to see, the problem is never, ever that clean.
So let's start with that baseline dilemma, right? On paper, it's a pretty clean equation, a binary choice between two very clear outcomes. It's the classic ethical puzzle you hear about all the time. But really, this is just the ground floor of a very, very tall and complicated building.
So on one hand, you've got Cal. He's a hacker, and his mission could literally save the entire city from this massive conspiracy. And on the other hand, you have Lyra, the street performer. Her art is kind of the city's soul, a real symbol of hope for thousands of people. The AI has to weigh these two incredibly valuable but totally different outcomes. And what's obvious right from the get-go is that there is no easy answer here.
And this is where things start to get weird. Because these big choices, they never happen in a nice, neat little vacuum. The world itself is an active, unpredictable player in the game. You know, the environment glitches, it fights back, and it can completely rewrite the rules of engagement without any warning.
And I mean, this is where it gets really unpredictable. We're not talking about a little bit of bad weather here. The source material for this explainer imagines worlds with glitches like sentient rain that can cloud an AI's sensors, or a metaphysical plague called the gray fade that can turn a 5-year plan into a 5-month crisis. Throw in economic rifts that just tank your returns, or even temporal distortions that warp time itself, and what you realize is that the game board is completely and fundamentally unstable.
And this quote from Dr. Elara Hess, it just nails the urgency. A perfectly logical long-term plan to deal with something like the gray fade can become totally obsolete, practically overnight. All of a sudden, that slow, careful, politically safe choice becomes the single most dangerous one you could make. The environment just flipped the table and changed all the winning conditions.
But look, the external world isn't the only source of chaos. The second, and maybe even bigger variable, is us. The decision makers, the players in the game. We are not perfect rational machines. No way. We're flawed, we're biased, and a lot of the time we're driven by motives we barely even understand ourselves.
Just think about some of the characters from these stories. You've got Jax Harlan, who says he's all about protecting his team's safety, but secretly he's skimming funds. Or Dr. Morrow, who looks like he's rushing to save a patient, but really, he's just acting out of a desperate need for self-preservation. Or Leora Thorne, who talks a big game about progress but lets some really damaging experiments happen just to build a better narrative. In every single case, their own internal glitches totally distort the calculus of their choices.
And here's what makes it so tricky. These characters aren't just simple villains. They are often absolutely brilliant. Take the character Echo, who apparently submitted a job application written in 17 different languages. I mean, come on. When you combine that kind of otherworldly competence with some very, very human flaws, you create a really dangerous variable. It makes their actions both incredibly powerful and frighteningly unpredictable.
So what have we got? We've got a glitchy world, and we've got flawed players. So what's the final layer of complexity? Well, it's that the rules themselves can change, right in the middle of the game. And that means solving the immediate puzzle in front of you just isn't enough. You have to understand the metagame, the game about the game.
The classic hat puzzle is a perfect example of this. The real key to solving it isn't just what you see, it's what you don't hear. When nobody speaks up, that silence itself becomes powerful new information. Everyone's inaction collectively changes the state of the game, and that's what allows a solution to finally emerge. The most powerful move is understanding the game that's being played in that silence.
And we see this exact same principle in a business setting with something called the Etherforge Gambit. So an aggressive all-out marketing strategy is the clear winner when everything's growing. But then, bam, the rules change. An economic downturn hits. A rival launches a new product. And suddenly, that same winning strategy is a death sentence. The optimal play does a complete 180, shifting from all-out aggression to just trying to survive.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Let's bring it all together.
We've seen that the environment is unstable, the players are flawed, and the rules can change on a dime. This forces us to completely reframe the entire problem. The goal isn't to find the one single right answer. It's because the idea of optimal is a moving target. The real skill here isn't solving the puzzle that's right in front of you. It's about recognizing how the puzzle itself is changing and then adapting your strategy before it's too late. It's a game of constant, never-ending recalibration.
I absolutely love this quote. It suggests that real wisdom doesn't come from just collecting more and more data, from archiving old solutions like books in a library. Now, it comes from digesting past experiences, like a compost heap, letting go of the outdated models and allowing new understanding to grow from what's left. Real progress depends on what we're willing to forget.
Which brings us to a final question to really chew on. In a world where the board is always changing, the pieces are unreliable, and the rules are constantly being rewritten, are you really an objective player who's solving the puzzle? Or are you just another unpredictable piece on the board yourself?